Okay, hey guys, I'm sitting here in quarantine because I'm going to be going overseas. Been in quarantine about a week now, getting pretty bored. So I decided I was going to try to make a video. Okay, so I decided what I was going to make the video on is using the open source graphics editor called GIMP, G-I-M-P, GIMP. It's open source, it's completely free, and you can do some pretty cool stuff with it. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to take some of these pictures right here of these old football cards, and I'm going to kind of pretty them up a little bit, and I'm going to upload them to my website, NFLPassPlayers.com. Okay, so we're going to start with this image right here. I had it selected already, but we're going to go ahead and do it again just to kind of show you how to do it. This card right here of Y.A. Tittle. Y.A. Tittle was a quarterback, started off in the late 40s, played through the 50s into the early 60s. He's a Hall of Fame quarterback, graduated from LSU, and he led the Giants to a couple of championships. I don't think he won, but nevertheless, he was a very, very good quarterback. Anyway, we're going to start off by choosing this card right here. I just went ahead, threw a bunch of cards up on the scanner, scanned them all up, so now I got to get this card out of here. So what we're going to do, we're going to use the select tool right here, rectangle select tool. Choose that right there and just drag a square right over. There you go. They're the marching ants, as that the lines there or the selection is referred to, marching ants. And what we're going to do, we're going to hit the Control-C keys, which is going to copy what is selected there to the clipboard. We're going to use the Edit, paste as a new image right here, and boom, there you go. There's the card of Y.A. Tittle. I picked up this card in, I think it was Longview, Texas, at an antique store. We were running away from Hurricane Delta as it was hitting the Louisiana coast. Bugged out and hit some antique stores and flea markets. This is his 1956 card when he was playing with San Francisco. All right. Okay, so we're going to start off. You can see right here, there's a little bit we need to do to this card right here. Starters, we got to choose just the card, but to do that, we're going to have to straighten it up a little bit. And the way you do that, the way I do it, I go ahead and I choose right here the Move tool. You click on the Move tool, you bring your cursor over either one of the rulers here, click on the ruler, and you drag down. And what you see there is a guide. That's a straight edge there. You can move it around, you can position it, and as you can probably see, we're going to use it to straighten this image out right here. So what I do, I go ahead and kind of get them there, get them kind of close, and to rotate it, come over here. Right here you have the rotate tool. Okay, as you mouse over this tool, you can see there's a few different tools. You right click on it, you can choose any of these tools right here. Okay, we are going to use the rotate tool. Okay, and you go ahead and you click on anywhere in the image, and a little dialog box pops up right here. Give you some controls there. You can use the arrows to move it around like that, or you can just take your cursor, you could grab onto it and move it like that. Okay, so we're going to go ahead. All right, we need to, okay, get it kind of straight. What I like to do, kind of help me out a little bit, is I'll take my guide and I'll try and put it up on a straight part of the image. Not necessarily the edge, because you see the edge is all ragged and funky looking. Find you a nice straight edge of the picture. Put it up on there like that, and you can see it's still off just a little bit. So go ahead, once again, choose the rotate tool there, and for real fine, minute movements, use these little up and down buttons here. And the way I've always remembered it, the button pulls the left part of the image in the direction that it's pointing at. That's the way I've always used to remember which is which. Okay, so you can look kind of in there, and if you want to get really precise, over here you can use the zoom tool. Right here, it looks like a little magnifying glass. Click on that, and you get in there, and you see you can just kind of keep getting closer and closer and closer. Okay. What I like to do at this point, go back to my move tool, click on the guide and kind of move it out a little, out to the edge there. If you need to, when you're ready to move out, down here you can see right here you got a little number and a percent. That's the zoom on the image you're doing right now. We've got that picture zoomed up to 766%. Well, we need to go down to like this, 50%. Bring it out right there. And you see the guy, we got a pretty good edge on that right there. So we're going to use it, we're going to get it here, we're going to get the top there kind of straight. Okay, we're good there. Grab another one, drag it all the way over to the right side of the image, get nice and close in there, nice and tight. And it doesn't have to be perfect, we're going to fix it up, make it nice and pretty in a little bit. Grab it from the top again, bring it down, you want to set up your bottom. Right there, we'll put it about right there. Okay, there we go. There, so you have your all four you got, your four edges right there. All right, you go over. The next tool we're going to use is the crop tool. Click on the crop tool. What that's going to basically cut out anything you drag. You start at one corner and it drags the tool. You see it right there, the edges. Drag it out to the edge of the guide. All right, see, okay, now we're kind of, yeah, and you see how what you're cutting out is bright and the part you're cutting off is kind of dimmed out. Just double click on the image. There you go. That's it, okay? Okay, if you want to get rid of the guides, come over, click on the move tool, place it over the guide turns red, and you just pull it off. Like thusly. Okay, there you go. Okay, that's what we're going to work with right there. Okay, we can start off any way we want. We can get it to a good size. Let me just do that right now. You go to 100%. Okay, that's a little bit too big for what I want to do with it. Okay, so what I'm going to do, leave it at 100%. Make it a little bit more manageable size. So you go over to the image tab here, click on that, and you get you some choices here. You're going to find the scale image right here, and you see the little tool tip says change the size of the image content. Click on that, get you another control box here. Okay, what I'm going to do, I'm going to make the height 700. And you could use little buttons here. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to type in 700. And then I'm going to hit the tab key on the keyboard. And what it does, it automatically scales it for you. Right here, where this little lock thing right here, little lock symbol, if I had that off, okay, there you go, it wouldn't adjust it. If you want to make your picture nice and even on all sides, the ratio, right, of it, height to width, that's how you want it, right there. Okay, so we went ahead, we scaled it down to a height of 700 and a width of 495. All right, I'm just going to, right off the bat, I'm going to say we can use it like that. Okay, that's good. Get out of that. Okay. Oh, messed up. Forgot to hit the scale button. Let's do this again, right here. Okay, we got it locked. 700, hit the tab key, it automatically scales it down to the right ratio, hit the scale button, and there it goes. Now, that's what we wanted to do, right there. Okay. Now what I like to do right here in this situation is I always like to make a second layer, okay? Kind of like a copy of it. And to do that, you have a tab over here, should come with GIMP. You have your layer right there. You come down, you've got some choices right here, some little icons. This icon right here looks like two little squares, one on top of the other, kind of like a copy of one. Create a duplicate of the layer and add it to the image. Go ahead and click that right there. And you see right there, it created another copy, another layer on top of it. Okay. And what we're going to do, we're going to work on the top layer. We're going to leave this layer alone, and we're going to keep this top layer right here as our working copy. Okay, first thing we're going to do, you see right here the edges. They look pretty ragged and funky. So what we're going to do, we're going to come over here to this little tool right here. Looks like a little rubber stamp tool. It's the clone tool. Okay, I'm going to right click on it, and you can see there's three different tools here. There's the clone tool, the perspective clone tool, and the healing tool. We're going to be using the clone tool and the healing tool to fix this image up, because I have no idea what the perspective clone tool does. If you're really smart and you know what the perspective clone tool does, by all means let me know down in the comments. But for right now, we're going to use the clone tool, okay? And I'll show you what the clone tool does. We're going to use our zoom tool, and we're going to get down on this corner. It looks so yucky. We're going to get down nice and close to it, see? Like that. Okay, that's close enough. Now what the clone tool does, we're going to click on our clone tool again, make sure the clone tool is chosen. And you see right here, we've got a little circle there. Okay, that is whatever that little circle is encompassing, that's what we're going to make a copy of, or it's going to be cloned. I'll show you right now. We go way over here. You hit the control key on the keyboard and you left click with your mouse, and that is what is, and see it stays right there. That's what you have a picture of. And that's what you can basically take that, whatever you do, and copy it all over the picture. Okay, I'm gonna hit Control Z. Control Z is your friend when doing this. Always remember Control Z. Okay, so what we're gonna do right here, okay, you see right here the brush, see, we need to get in here. What I'm gonna do right here, I'm gonna copy this edge right here, and I'm gonna superimpose it over right here. I'm gonna blend it in. But you can see right here, see our little circle is too big. You know, we try and hit the control key. We got a copy of that. Okay, it's just not gonna work, okay? Control Z, fix it. What you can do, you can control the size of the area that you're copying with the brackets key, okay? It's the key that's right next to the P. That's the open brackets. It's to the right of the P key, and to the right of that open bracket key is a close bracket key. That's how you make it bigger. The open bracket key, makes it smaller. Close bracket key makes it larger, okay? And you can see over here to the left, it adjusts what you're going to be copying, where you're going to be putting it. Okay, so we're going to get a brush about the size of, that's what they call it, a brush. Basically, that's the nerdy term for it. This is a brush. Okay. Oh, and another real quick thing, the brush, right, if you double click on the clone tool, you look over here to the right, it brings up the brush, okay? Look at that, that brush is full black, it's hard, okay? If you want to make subtle what you're making copies of and superimposing it, you can have varying degrees of basically how hard is the best way to put it, of what you're going to be doing on your picture. This is really hard. This is a little less hard there. This one's a little less harder. And this one's hardly hard at all. We're going to use the second one right here. And again, you see right now, whenever you change a brush, it changes the size. So we're going to go over to the open bracket and make our brush smaller. And just to kind of give an illustration, Holding the control key, clicking over here. All right, see it's right there? See? What you're applying is smaller. It's softer, okay? And that's what we're going to be using over here. Control Z, get rid of all those little red spots. Come back over here, adjust our brush with the open bracket key. Bring the size. Okay, that right there, that'll probably be good right there. Control, left click with the mouse. That's what we're going to be making a copy of. Now, you see as I pull up, brush moves. The area that it's copying from moves up. So it's whatever you're using, the area you're using, as you pass it over, it's going to stay respective of what you're trying to do here. Okay, see again here, just bring it on up. All right. We're going to get right here. Just bring it up like that, see? If you want to, again, control, left click, you can just kind of hit spots. Boom, 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 like that. It's such a tight little area, it's probably going to be kind of hard to move the brush around really good. So you may just have to, you know, kind of hit little spots like that. Okay, control that, we've got a little zealous there. Adjust the size of that right there. And there we go. Okay, now right here, we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna make our brush a little bit bigger. Get the right size here. I'm gonna get right here, get an area right here, and start doing the top here. Just moving that out there. See? Just real gradual movements. And the gradual because it's the size, the space we have to work with. We're in a very small space. Let me show you this. This is kind of cool. Okay? You have like a long area like that. See how we got a whole lot of top to fix. What you can do, find you a good space on the picture. Get your size just right. Control, left click. Okay, that's where our clone piece is coming from. You can take it and just kind of click one time over the area that you want. And if it's a straight edge, you can hold the shift key. Okay, watch this. Look at that. See? And what it's going to do, it basically takes the area and just makes a nice straight line with it. See? Like that. Okay, we're going to move down a little bit here. Do the same thing again. Click one time, bring it out a little bit. As far as we need to go, hit the shift key and just kind of covers it all up. What you're doing, you're taking that area and you're just kind of automating almost, going from here to here in one straight line. Same thing here. Control, left click, click once, all the way out to right here. Boom. Same thing here. Boom. There you go. Okay, now see right here we have a little bit more area to work with. We can make the brush a little bit bigger. Control, left click with the mouse, and just kind of go to town with it. Let's make this a little bit smaller. Okay, now see, watch, if I go like this, oh, look, see? The cursor made its way into the, right here, so you got to be conscious of how you're moving your brush. So we're going to go from left to right here, instead of right to left. Like that, see? All right, and right there. Again, right here, we're going to do the same thing right here, make our brush a little bit bigger. Control left, hit there, click one time, boom. Go all the way down here. Let's see how this does. Like that. And just kind of go over it and just kind of eyeball it, make sure everything's good to go. Okay, this is all kind of funky here. Make our brush a little bigger. Boom. Again, the clone tool, you're selecting a part of the picture. That's correct. And you're superimposing it over a part of the picture. That's not right. And fixing it like that. That's all we're doing here. See? And keep going down. Let's see. Let's do this. Let's do the shift again. So we have this edge right here. So I'm going to get a little bit close to it. I find that whenever you're cloning stuff, the closer you get to the imperfection, the better it's going to look. Okay, Control, left click here, click one time here, scroll to where you want it, hold down the Shift key, boom, there it is. All right. Okay, the bottom, let's see how the bottom looks. And again, just all right, see this right here. Now, yeah, this is kind of not a whole lot of space to work with. This is use the zoom. I'm gonna we'll get in like that. We're just gonna have to scroll into it there. Okay, again right here. Again, using the clone tool. There it is. You see our brush. Open bracket next to the P key. I get real small, real teeny-tiny with this. Again, we're going to get right, let's find an area right, but again, let's get close. Let's get kind of close. This edge looks dark, but keep in mind it's dark because it's damaged. So, okay. Okay. Okay, and then just kind of brushing it, holding down the left mouse button and moving it over. Let's get another piece here. I'm gonna get right there. Let's try the. See if we can get this as. Yeah, okay, that's about as big as I want to get. Because otherwise, you'll start picking up over here, and we don't want to do that, do we? Okay, here we go. Get real close. Control left mouse button. There it is, right there. Scroll up, 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 up. All the way to the edge. Here, hold down the Shift key. There it is. And going over. Just kind of making sure nothing is too bad. Okay, and what's kind of cool here, go back to your little zoom button here. We're at 2800%. We're in there really close. Bring it out to 100%. Look at our edge. And something you do, make yourself feel good. You have your layers right here. Come over to the top layer. See the little eyeball here? And you probably figured out that's so you could see it or not see it. Click on the little eyeball. That's what it looked like before we started. Click it back on. That's what it looks like now. See, I like to do that and make myself feel like I'm getting somewhere. Now look at that and yeah. Okay, here we go. Let's go ahead. Right now, we're going to go ahead and we're going to save it. Now with GIMP, you can save it. Yeah, we'll save. Well, you save as, and it saves as an XCF file. Okay, see up here, XCF. We're just going to call this Tittle. All right. Okay, hit save. XCF is the native format for GIMP, and it saves it. It saves all the layers and saves all the anything else you do to it. It'll save all that. It saves all your history. So if I wanted to go all the way back to the beginning, I could undo right here. See right here? This little tab right here, that's the undo. And I've had to use that a few times. Anyway, let's get in here right now. Okay, see right here, we have all these little blemishes and pecks and specks everywhere. And so what we're going to do, use the zoom tool. We're going to get in close. All right, there we go. Again, we're going to use the clone tool. All right, the clone tool. We can make our brush a little bigger now. And just kind of start going over it. Getting all the little flecks and specks out of it. Get real small here. So try to get this from right here. Yep, just going over, fixing it all up. And it's tedious, very tedious, but it's important. If you want it to look halfway decent, you've got to get all these little things out of here. All right. And that right there. Little bobo on his chin. Okay. See, you can get in really, really close. And again, we use a clone tool. There's our brush. Get our brush a little bit smaller. Kind of find a little area out here. And just bring it over there, just like that. See? Zoom back out. 100%. Look at that. See that? You can start to see kind of taking shape here. Okay, here we go. And there's a lot of little things we can do here. And again, the button right there. Okay, and just getting in there. And just a little bit about GIMP. There's kind of like this debate going on because GIMP is free and there's other graphics editors that are not free. And there's always the debate on if free is as good as the paid graphics programs. And all I can say is GIMP. Oh, now, okay, now I'm going to stop right there. I'm going to bring up a little something. You see what the clone tool did? It went ahead. I was too far over. There's where your Control Z, undo, comes in. Okay, get all that out. All right, getting a little bit tighter and closer here. Okay, so I'm catching part of the red here. Let's go to this side. Let's try to get the piece right here. There. Like that. Okay. And as I was saying about GIMP and the paid graphics editors, GIMP does everything I want it to do. Everything I need to do. And as the video goes on, I'll probably discuss a little bit more. My ultimate intentions with this redigitized card of Mr. Y.A. Tittle is to upload it to my website, NFLPastPlayers.com. It's a website I have of old players, pictures of old players I get from books and magazines. I'll put a link in the description if anyone's interested. If you're into that kind of thing, you can check it out. But anyway, I find GIMP does everything I need. The pictures, the images, the little bit of graphics work that I do on the websites. See that? The clone tool kind of screwed it all up. Control Z. GIMP does everything I need it to do. Now, if I was more professional or was much better at what I'm doing, would the paid graphics programs suit me better? Maybe so. Okay, see, once again, look, this, what I was cloning from, it just doesn't look good. Control Z. So, at this point, I would like to introduce you to, left click on it, the healing tool. All right? The healing tool, in my limited knowledge of how GIMP and all these things work, you get you an area. The way it works, you get you an area just like you do with the clone tool. All right? But instead of taking that copied portion of the picture and superimposing it upon it, it more or less kind of blends in and just kind of blends it in all in like that, see? Instead of just superimposing it. And sometimes the clone tool's a little too much and you want to just be able to blend it in, smooth it out, like right here. Okay, we're going to bring the brush down a little bit, Find a nice little area that we want it to. Okay, I got it. I control left click there, healing tool, and it just kind of, and what you got to be careful with this tool as opposed to the clone tool. Remember, the clone tool takes a piece and just superimposes it. If your brush is a little bit over, like in that white area right there, and that's the area you want, it's going to try and blend part of that white that it picked up there. It's going to try and blend that into the what you're trying to fix. So sometimes in that case right there, sometimes the clone tool would work better. Okay, but we're going to use the healing tool a little bit. See, right there, it's kind of a little bit contrasting images, and it's trying to blend the two contrasting images together. Right here, you got that right there. I find the clone tool would work better. Find you a little area that you want to copy over. And voila. Same thing here. Let's just try just right here maybe. Yeah, see, like that. Okay, and again, I'm going to go down here. Let's zoom out a little bit. Yeah, we still got a ways to go. We still got quite a ways to go. So we're just going to keep at it. Clone, we're going to clone here. Two very contrasting colors. And sometimes you just kind of scroll around, up and down. You can see what's going on. Bring it back out a little bit. Now sometimes like this, like I'm out real wide. I'll take the healing tool, get a nice big old brush here, and then just kind of get you a piece right there and just kind of, kind of hit it all. See, like that. Move it all in like that. Okay. There's a little blemish right there. Let's take care of that. Let's bring the size of the brush down. Control, left click, and there we go. Okay. Now, I don't like that right there. Yeah, let's get a little bit closer in. Healing tool. Bring the brush down. There we go. And bring it back out to 100%. All right, just kind of looking at that. Let's get that little nick right there, right at the bottom of the 49ers foot there. I'm going to use the clone tool for this. If I get it to, there we go. There we go. Okay, 100%. Let's kind of fix that up down there a little bit. It looks kind of rough right there. Okay, it's just I'm gonna try the healing tool. We're gonna try this right here. All right, I'm gonna find a piece right here. See how that looks. Control Z. All right, get down in here. Zoom down in there. We're going to use the clone tool for this. Get that piece right there and just kind of go over it. Without moving it, just kind of dab it over, if you will. All right, zoom back out to 100%. Yeah, it looks a little better. This looks kind of rough right there. And again, I'm just going to throw this out there. If anybody watching the video has any tips for me or any advice on how I could be doing this better, because I by no means am an expert at GIMP. I'm a guy who knows how to use it, who's just making a video. All right. Okay, we're gonna down there, little funky area right there. smaller. Control Z. Let's clone it. Clone it. Small. There. Okay. That's okay. We're gonna leave it right like that for the moment. Okay. And that was using the clone tool, the healing tool, the zoom tool. Cover up everything just to kind of give it. This is what it was before, the before and after. Okay. All right. Now, let's go ahead, let's save it. Always save. Save. Okay. YATittle.xcf. Okay. Now what we're going to try right here, and I'm going to go ahead. There's a little trick that I learned using what's called the high pass filter, and I'll show you what it does. And what you do, what I do. I take the topmost layer there, I make a duplicate of it. Okay, there's a mode right here. They call, you do all kind of special effects to the image, the layer. Let's see, you can, there you go, the subtract, screen. This is just, I'm not even begin to tell you what each one does, because I don't know. But what I will do, if you scroll down, you'll find a mode called soft light right here. Overlay, soft light, hard light, vivid light. Choose the soft light. All right, see? Okay. Then you come over to your filters here on the menu. Click on filters. You're going to come down to the enhance option. Move over from the enhance, and you're going to find the high pass filter. And if you see the little tooltip right there, enhances fine details. Click on that. Okay. You have some controls right here. Sometimes you can kind of play with them. It's very, very subtle. Very, very, very subtle. And what basically you're doing, it sharpens up, it tightens up lines and little details of the image, and it takes some of the blurriness out, some of the ragged blurriness out. The contrast here, you can kind of play with that and see what it does. You move it to the right, it makes it a little bit, well, the edge is kind of darker. Move it back like this to the left, kind of lightens it up. Not as much of a difference. Okay, find you a nice happy median there. Same thing with the standard deviation. See, as I move it to the right, see how the effects it has on it? Much greater effects. Come back a little bit. And all I can tell you to do with this, the high pass filter, is just play with it till you get it like you want it. Okay, I'm gonna leave it like that. Okay. And you can kind of, again, see changes are very, very subtle, okay? Kind of sharpens it up a little bit. Can you see that? That is with what I just did, the high pass filter, the soft light mode on the layer. Applied. Click on the eyeball. That's what it looks like without it. Not a great big huge difference, but I think I'm just gonna keep it like that. And what I like to do here is, at this point, the layer that I just did the effects to, there's a option down here. It looks like some little squares with a arrow going down. This is merge, and what it's going to do, it's going to merge the selected layer with the layer directly underneath it. Okay, there you go. And you see there again, that's what we've done to it so far. That's what it used to look like. After, before. Okay, now what we're going to do now, what I'd like to do now, still a little bit ragged. All you can do is get in here and just kind of play with the settings. Play with the settings a little bit. What I'm going to do here, the filters, I'm going to go to enhance, I'm going to go to noise reduction. Okay, and then, yeah, again, it kind of softens up the edges a little bit. Here's the strength right here. Default is 4, okay? You can give it a much more blurrier image by adjusting this right here. You back it off a little bit, and again, the edges seem a little bit sharper, a little bit harder there. So we're going to kind of play around with this. Okay, that's 4. I'm going to put it at 3. Okay. This other stuff here, the clipping, blending options, I'm not sure about that. I've never played with them too much. Okay. Okay, here we go. Okay, that's what we have right now. To me, it's a little bright, a little loud. So, right here, I'm going to go to the Colors tab here. Click on Colors, and there's a whole slew of options here. And again, this is just getting in and playing with it and seeing what does what. Okay, I still don't know what all this stuff does. I'm going to start off with the saturation. Okay, change the saturation. All right, there's your control box right there. Starts off with a scale of 1. We're just going to kind of drop it down a little bit. Okay. I use the arrow keys because it starts off very subtle, but then it doesn't take much to really make a, see now it's starting to look gray, purplish and blue. Yeah, we don't want that. We still want some kind of red in it. A little bit of brightness in it, just not as much. I find for a lot of the images and things I work on, bringing it from a 1 to a 9. Thereabouts. Let's go to about 8, 9 here. Okay, yeah. Okay, we'll leave it right there. 0.89, scale down there. All right. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to save it again. All right. I still don't like this right here, but yeah, let's, just because it's getting here, just kind of fix this a little bit with the healing tool. Okay. A bit bigger. Here we go. And again, you got to, because there's a contrasting colors here, so you got to be kind of careful as to, because it'll try and take those contrasting colors and spread the brown with the red, and we cannot have that. Let's come down. Let's fix this down here a little bit, right there. Okay. We're going to use the clone tool for this. Bring it down, 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 down. Okay, clone, and just kind of go over that. Yeah. This is right here. This is getting pretty meticulous and pretty up close and personal. And you got it. Sometimes you got to go back and forth because sometimes it's just hard to see when you get so close what exactly, kind of lose perspective of what you're working on. Okay, what I'm doing right here, I'm gonna try. I'm gonna get right here. I'm gonna get my portion I'm grabbing right there. See, right there, right there. And I'm just gonna kind of drag it over. Okay. All right. So that kind of takes that out a little bit. Again, you get here. Same thing here. Taking a good part of the picture and putting it over a bad part of the picture. Try this right here. Again, we're just going to kind of single click, little single clicks. Okay. Let's do this. No, too small. Let's try this. It doesn't hurt to try things, you know? Let's just try the clone tool, healing tool right here. See how they back out. See what we got. Yeah, better, getting better. And again, it's how good do you want it? I mean, this card right here is, and we're getting it from 1956. It's 2006 was 50 years. I mean, look at it, all 55, 60-year-old card here. And Lord knows what has happened to it. It was not in the best of condition. Okay, it's some good. So it's, how far do you want to go? How far do you want to go? Okay, right here, we're going to zoom inside here and get that right there. We use the clone tool. Okay, clone. Bring it down a little bit here. Get maybe right there, and just there. Yes, I thought I saw a piece over here that was kind of yucky. Let's get right here. Oh, that faded, yucky part. Okay, we do this. We're going to clone a good part. Put it over. All right. Okay, there we go. Right here on his throat. Looks like he's got some zits on his throat. Just get that kind of clean. We use the healing tool for that. On a good piece. All right. And don't mistake the brush sometimes for a problem. Okay. All right. What's that right? That part right there on the floor. Okay. Right there. And the tool. And sometimes, I'll confess to y'all, sometimes there's a spot on my screen. My screen is dirty, and I think it's the image messed up. I've more than once spent an unusual amount of time trying to clone out a spot on my screen. Okay, let's get this right here. Bring that down a little bit there. Right here. Okay, here we go. Again, trying to get this, just this little spot right here. That's really not doing much of a... If anything, go back to the clone tool. Clone right there. All right, same thing here. Okay. All right, I think I'm going to stop right there. We could probably get more in depth. We could get more anal about it, but I think I'm gonna stop right there as far as cleaning up the blemishes, and we're gonna look at the coloring. And I will say, there's an old 1956 card. The coloring in it wasn't that great to begin with. I'm gonna try. Well, I'm gonna save it first. Let's try some. I'm gonna try. There's a setting on here for it's called saturation. Saturation right there. And let's see. Okay, we did that already. We used that already, didn't we? Okay, forget that. Exposure. Let's try the exposure tool right here. That's the whiteness. Okay, and again, there's a black level and exposure. And again, these are, but it doesn't take much. You know, it makes just a little bit makes a little big difference. Reset it back to the default, and just real minute movements. Black level. Sometimes the black level, sometimes you can make it look a little bit better. Okay, we'll leave that right there. Okay. All right, one more thing I'm looking at. I got to fix, guys. Save. I got to do some of that right there. Try it again. Zoom tool. All right. We're gonna use the healing tool on this. Okay, again right here, and just make like some. There we go. I don't know if it. Oh, let's see. Let's zoom out. See what we did. All right. I'm gonna stop right there. I'm gonna start. There's probably a lot more I could do to it if I was a better GIMP guy, but I'm not a better GIMP guy. So I think I might leave it right there for the time being. Again, we're going to save it. I'm going to try just messing around with the color tool, show y'all some of the color tools here. Brightness contrast. I find you can really bring out the colors right here. Adjusting the brightness and then coming down to the contrast and keeping the contrast sometimes almost in line with the brightness, just a little under. So you don't want to go too much. It distorts everything. Right here, see, just kind of And then just mess with it, play with it till you get it to a point where you're happy with it. Okay, I'll leave right there, that's good. Another tool that in this toolbox is the curves tool. And simply put, this makes it lighter, that makes it darker. And you can get in and you can kind of minute little, you can change the whole shade, the whole tone of the image, and till you get to where you like it. And you can kind of adjust it. Just reset it. This right here, I find you can kind of get a contrast sometimes. Hold one side of the line one way and the other side of the line the other way. And you kind of get some contrast at it. Right here's the channel. You can just kind of mess with all the red stuff. Make the red stuff darker, make the red stuff brighter. Green, good with the green. There's not a whole lot of green there. Reset it. And blue. We do have a little bit of blue. Make the blue. But it's going to change the whole color blue. I also find that using these right here, if there's some distortion, it brings out the mistakes a little bit more as you start to change the color of the pixel. So that's not always a, but it's sometimes you can make some really, really subtle changes. Sometimes some great changes, some big changes. Okay, it's good. Tone that red down just a little bit. Okay, there we go. Okay, I'm going to leave it. I'm going to leave that like that. I'm going to leave that like that. Okay. All right, go ahead and save it. Saving it as yatittle.xcf. Okay. So what you want to do now to finish it up, what I like to do, I come down here, the create a new layer. It's like a little piece of paper with a plus on it. And what that does, that creates a new blank layer. And you can make the layer different colors. Of the foreground color, which would be black, this is the foreground. You can make it white right there, the background color. What we're going to make it transparency, which means it's like a blank, like a piece of clear glass or plastic over it. Okay? And what I do here, I go ahead, I go to the select tool, the select option here, I'm sorry, and I select all. See right here? It makes a little marching ants all around it. I come down to border. Okay, I'm going to add a little border around it. I find putting a little border sometimes, it makes it kind of, gives a little bit of appeal. I'm going to make a border selection of 1. What it's doing, it's making a border, a little 1 pixel size gap all around the image. Make sure you got your black chosen, and you're going to go to the bucket fill tool. Click on that, bucket fill, and you see you got your little bucket thing, and you got to kind of watch it because your cursor's got to be right over the selected area. You only got 1 pix there, 1 pixel. So you see as we put it over there, it goes from a no-go to a little black and white square. So now you know you're over it. Left click on it, and it's going to apply black in a 1 pix area all around there. Select it, select none. Okay, it's kind of hard to see because I got my screen set to a dark, but it kind of gives a little bit of a, like I said, a little bit of a boundary on it. And, okay, yeah, I think I'm going to leave it right there for the time being. You know what? Yeah, I'm going to leave it right there for the time being. To put all these together, I'm going to save this. Okay. You're going to right click on any one of these 3 layers right here. And you're going to go to either flatten image or merge visible layers. I don't know what the difference between the 2 is. I hit flatten image. Boom. Done. Now you've got 1 layer, 1 picture. And so what you got to do now since the native file format for GIMP is XCF, you can't use that. XCF is not going to go on a web page. You need to turn it to a JPEG, a GIF, or a PNG. All right, and the most practical format is going to be a JPEG. And GIMP has the ways and means to turn into a JPEG. So after you flatten it all out, go to File. The next thing you're going to do, you're going to go to Export As. Okay. Saving it is going to save it as a XCF file. You need to export it. Okay. When I first started using this program, that took a little getting used to because I always wanted to save. But I got the hang of it. Export As. There's your box right there. Okay. And we're going to put it in, we're just going to put it on our desktop. All right. Okay. Tittle. That's not a very web-friendly name. So we're going to change the file name to something to the effect of, okay, we're going to Tittle lowercase letters. Tittle, we're going to San Francisco quarterback. This is his 1956 Topps card. Okay, there it is. Let's see, make sure I spelled San Francisco right. Looks like it's spelled right. Export. Okay, comes up again, and you've got a little bit of, you can adjust the quality of it for the size. I got the quality set at 90. Got some advanced options. You can do some other stuff to it. We're not going to worry about that right now. You can save the EXIF data. That's a little behind the scenes stuff images have. If you can save it, doesn't make much of a difference to me, at least. Export. Okay, there it is. Okay, now, and one more thing I do with it before I upload it to my website, NFL Past Players, I have a plugin here that I really like called Riot, R-I-O-T, all right? It stands for Radical Image Optimization Tool, something like that. You can download it, you can install it as a plugin for GIMP or several other ones. And what it does, it optimizes the image for you. Okay, you can see we've got the, right here, the initial image is 2.248 megabytes. Yeah, that's a good size image to put on a website. That might take a moment or two to download. What it does, it optimizes it, and I'm not even going to get into telling you how it optimizes it. It does all kind of magic to it, and it's going to turn it into a picture of 52.48 kilobytes. That's probably, that's what, about almost a quarter in size, just doing the math in my head, thereabouts. Okay, you've got different options. You can save it as a PNG, a GIF. By and large, JPEG is the #1 format to save for web images at this point in time. They've got some other stuff coming out that's too far above my head, so I just use JPEG. Okay, you're going to click Save, okay, and a little dialog box comes up. And in this case right here, because I changed the folder, it wants to save as Tittle. The original image is on the desktop. So I clicked on that picture right there, and we say, do I want to replace it? Yes, I do. That's why I clicked on it. There we go. Okay, and here is Tittle right here. Okay, click on it, see what comes up. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, there's probably a lot more I could have done to it. Tell you what, if there's any of you GIMP experts that can give me an idea on what I could have done better, by all means, I'd love to hear from you. Leave me a comment. Let me know about it. If you want to see the pictures of the old NFL players, NFLPastPlayers.com, I'll probably throw up a link in the description. You can go check it out. Got all kind of pictures that I've messed with a little bit. I'm not too crazy about the way this one came out, but for the sake of the video, we're going to let it rip right now. And thank y'all for watching, and leave me a comment. Tell me what you think about what I did. Later.